Forza Horizon 6 may be coming out this year. And one question on all of our minds is, where will the next game be taking place? Well, I covered my predictions in this video, but today I'll be going through places I don't think Forza Horizon 6 would be set. Anyways, 4,000 likes is the target, so obliterate that button. And also let me know places you don't think Horizon 6 will be set in the comments down below. And yeah man, without further ado, let's get into this video. Many people want the next game to be set in the UAE so they can have Dubai and Abu Dhabi and I don't know any more cities, those are the only two I know. And you know, these cities did seem like they'd be a lot of fun to drive through in a racing game, but I don't see the next game to being set in the UAE. I mean, yes, there is incredible car culture featuring JDM cars, off-roaders, and of course supercars and hypercars, alongside incredible driving roads, but I don't see the next game being set there because the devs like to set Forza Horizon games in unique locations, where they have unique landscapes and unique roads and unique culture. Like, you know, Forza devs care more about trees and the landscape rather than they do about the driving roads. So with the UAE basically being just a massive desert, I don't see the next game being set in Dubai. I've been thinking about it, we've already seen two massive deserts in Forza Horizon games already. I mean, in this game Horizon 5, and of course Horizon 3 with the Outback, which is very similar to the dunes in Dubai. And let's be honest, I feel like we're all sick to death of sand and desert and dunes. Like, we want to see trees that aren't dying and grass that is not the same color as hay. Oh, and also another reason why I don't think the next game will be set in Dubai. I cannot drive. Anyways, another huge reason why I don't think the next game will be set in Dubai is because I have a weird theory. And that theory is that the showcase tracks in Forza Motorsport games, for example Prague, Rio, Dubai, you know, those sort of tracks were possible locations for Forza Horizon games. I feel like they were the second choice locations. So you know, the Forza devs probably had two countries in mind and they were like, okay, let's set this Horizon game in this country and then let's set the showcase event of the Motorsport game in this country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like those countries have been used already, but in Motorsport instead of Horizon. So yep, that's a weird reason why. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could be possible, but I don't think it's a good idea if the next game is set in the UAE. Okay, now this is pretty surprising. A very popular location request for Forza Horizon 6 is Germany. Yep, and if you ask these people why do you want Germany, they'll reply with, oh, the car culture is amazing and they have the Nürburgring and they have the Autobahn. And to those people, I do agree that Germany has great car culture. I mean, they make some of the greatest cars in the world, they have some of the greatest aftermarket brands like Human and BBS, etc. And you know, the car culture is amazing, but car culture is not really a focus in Forza Horizon games nowadays. I mean, I'm sure we can all agree that Horizon does not feel like a car guy's game and they don't really care about the cars. So yep, Germany does have a, what the hell are those stories? Anyways, Germany does have an incredible car culture, but I don't feel like that's gonna play a part as for the next game to be set there. Anyway, secondly, the Nürburgring. Okay, now the Nürburgring is a really cool racetrack and every car guy wants to go there, but we will just never see that in a Forza Horizon game because of possible licensing issues. Some players would complain that their track's not accurate enough, and some devs would complain that it's so hard to recreate that track in the game, and the Nürburgring is just way too big of a track to be featured in the next Forza Horizon game. I mean, if the Nürburgring was seen in Forza Horizon 5's map, then it would be this big. Yep, that is massive. And I feel like the map for the next game will be a very similar size to Horizon 5, but maybe a little bit more dense. So yeah man, if you were to see Germany, then I don't think we will see the Nürburgring. And thirdly, well, the Autobahn thing. I don't really get the hype of the Autobahn being featured in a Forza Horizon game. Because don't get me wrong, I would love to drive on the Autobahn in real life because it's a really cool place to visit in real life because there are no speed limits. But in Forza Horizon 5, which is a game which has no laws, what's the point in the Autobahn? I mean, look at this, I'm going to speed over the speed limit, look at that, 90, I'm going to reach 100, look at that, I'm speeding crazy, yeah? And look at this swerving in between traffic cars like no Hesse, and guess what? Nothing's going to happen because basically every highway in Forza Horizon games are like Autobahns. They don't have speed limits. I mean, the traffic cars stick to the speed limit, but we don't have to, and if we do go past the speed limit, nothing's going to happen to us because it's a game, it has no laws. Like, why would you need the Autobahn in the next game? Honestly man, saying you want the Autobahn Autobahn in Forza Horizon 6 is like saying you want the next GTA game to be set in the Netherlands because is legal there. Do you get what I mean? Like, why would we need Autobahns in Forza Horizon games when basically every highway in this game is an Autobahn? Like, come on, it just doesn't make any sense, man. Now, the USA has some great areas for the next Forza Horizon game to be set. For example, you have the Pacific Coast. Wow! Nevada. Wow! Albuquerque. Oregon. Wow! Or Florida. Wow! And you know, these are all great locations. I mean, they have stunning views, diverse landscape, cool driving roads, and of course the USA has a very diverse, prominent car culture, which is just amazing. But there are very obvious reasons why the next game will not be set there. First of all, well, the first Forza game, Forza Horizon 1, was set in Colorado in the USA, so I don't think they'll be reusing the country from their old game in one of their new games when there are so many other really cool countries to choose from. And the second reason why is because Forza Horizon 5 is set in Mexico, which is a North American country, and I don't think we'll be seeing back-to-back continents in Forza, so I don't think those countries will be used in Horizon 6 because, yeah, it's just back-to-back continents and I don't see them doing that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love for the return of the USA in Forza Horizon 6, but I personally don't see it happening. Now, China is a very strong possibility for the next game, but others are thinking Hong Kong is more likely. And you know, I do see the appeal of Hong Kong because there is a massive city with forests and buildings and trees and there's a city, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like China would be the better location of the two. Because, you know, China has a more diverse landscape and it just makes more sense to choose China over Hong Kong. I mean, Hong Kong doesn't really have exclusive cars to their country, whereas China, on the other hand, they have a whole array of cool cars. And there's also another very glaring reason why we won't see Hong Kong in the next game, and it's because of Test Driver Limited Solar Crown. Yep, TDU Solar Crown is gonna be set in Hong Kong Island, not mainland Hong Kong Island, but it's still Hong Kong. And Solar Crown has been in development for so many years, I'm guessing like at least 5-6 years now, way before Horizon 5 came out, so I don't think the developers would copy Solar Crown and set their next game in the same location. So yeah, if we were to see a game set in Asia, I reckon that China is more likely than Hong Kong. Japan is a fan favorite and so many Forza players want the next game to be set there. And you know, this makes a lot of sense because Japan has incredible car culture, amazing driving roads, views, and it's just vibes. I mean, if you look at pictures of Japan, all you think about is just how relaxing it seems there. Like, I just want to go there and drive my car. So yeah, man, Japan does sound perfect, but I feel like they're saving Japan for the end of Forza Horizon. Because once Forza Horizon Japan comes out, the hype for the following Forza Horizon games is gonna completely die down. Because one of the reasons why the racing game community is so hyped over Forza Horizon trailers is because we're just trying to see a sign of Japan, and once that sign comes, we're gonna be like, oh, that's cool, and then we'll play the game and we'll enjoy the game, and then we'll just give up on the franchise because we'll be like, oh, we've seen Japan already, so what more is there to Forza Horizon? So yeah, man, I don't know if I worded that very well, but what I'm trying to say is that if we do see the next game in Japan, then that would probably be the last game. So yeah, man, I don't think we'll be seeing it in Horizon 6, but I do think it's a possibility in the near future, not the near future, but in the late future. Now, Monaco is a country, I'm drifting this 250 GTO. Anyways, Monaco is a country that is basically made for car enthusiasts. Stupid Evo! But yeah, Monaco is basically a country that's made for car enthusiasts. I mean, you see expensive cars everywhere, and the road is basically, I mean, it's not basically, it's literally a racetrack. You'll be driving on the roads and you just see Apex everywhere, and you'll be like, oh, this is like a racetrack. Well, it is a racetrack. Formula 1 cars race there. And you know, this would be an incredible location for a Forza Horizon game, but there is a big problem. Because Forza Horizon 5's map is around 100 kilometers squared, which is pretty big. But Monaco, on the other hand, well, Monaco is just shy of 2 kilometers squared. Yep, this makes Forza Horizon 5 50 times bigger than Monaco. So with how small Monaco is, if the next game was to include Monaco in it, then they'd have to mix it up with other European places, which they have already done. Yep, because in Forza Horizon 2, you actually saw aspects of Monaco near Castelletta. And it was a really tiny section of the map. I mean, like, you saw the corkscrew bit, and that's about it. I mean, you also saw like docks with like yachts in it. So yeah, man, we did kind of technically see Monaco in Forza Horizon already. And let me tell you, that's the reason why Forza Horizon 2 was my favorite Forza Horizon game, because the location choice of that game, oh my days, it was perfect. I mean, I'm basically 100% sure that the next game will not be set in Russia because of obvious reasons. I mean, if it is set in Russia, then that would be crazy. So yep, I guarantee you that Horizon 6 will not be set in Russia. But if it is, then this is going to be really badly aged. But okay, you know what? If it is set in Russia, then I will buy a Maserati Gran Turismo and then change the name to Forza. Yeah. Okay, now I kind of want the next game to be set in Russia. Now, Brazil is a beautiful country with incredible landscapes, amazing driving roads, stunning landmarks, cool car culture, and vibes, man. Brazil is just vibes. So you might be wondering, why won't Horizon 6 be set in Brazil? Well, I feel like it will... That was my fault. Anyways, I feel like it would be way too similar to Forza Horizon 5's Mexico, if you get what I mean. I mean, in my mind, Brazil is basically just a tropical Mexico with more mountains and less sand. Which does sound pretty cool. I mean, I feel like if Horizon 5 was not set in Mexico, then Brazil would have been the perfect location. But they decided to set this game in Mexico, so I don't feel like we see Brazil in the next game because it's just way too similar to Mexico. But there is also another very big reason why I don't think the next game will be set in Brazil, and that's because of my theory of the Forza Motorsport Showcase track thing. Yep, just like with the UAE, I feel like Brazil was a possible location for the next Horizon game, but instead of Brazil they ended up choosing Australia, so I feel like we may not see Brazil because it was the Showcase event track for Forza Motorsport 6. So yeah, don't get me wrong, it is an incredible location and it would have had such great potential for the next Horizon game, but I personally doubt that we will see the next game set in Brazil.